Do you find yourself walking down that crafter square aisle looking at all those wood items and thinking, I know there's got to be something I can make with that? Well, stay tuned. Hey everyone, my name is Courtney. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am taking you on a whirlwind ride of wood DIYs. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into these projects. For this DIY, you want to grab a canvas. This is the 5x7, but you could grab any size that you would like to. It will definitely work for this project. You want to start by breaking down your canvas, remove the actual white canvas piece, and take out all of the staples. Once you've done that, give it a light sanding, and then grab one of the flat wooden pieces that they have from Dollar Tree, set your canvas frame on top of it, and measure so that you have about an inch to, I don't know, or a half an inch to an inch on either side of the frame and trim it down. I'm just going to be using my miter shears to get that done. Now it's time to decide whether you want it to be natural like this, you want to paint it, or you want to stain it. I decided to stain mine. I'm just using the weathered oak stain from Minwax, and I rubbed that all over. Once it was dry though, I wasn't quite vibing with the color, so I did take my brown cream wax and rub that all over the stain as well. Now I will say this, Dollar Tree does sell a similar piece once this gets assembled. It's a chalkboard piece that has the same base. You certainly could grab that. I kind of looked at that piece. There is a way to kind of poke out the chalkboard. So if you don't want to go through these steps, you could pick up that piece as well from the crafter's square. Now we are ready to assemble. There are several things you could use to put this together. You could use hot glue if you'd like. The reason I did not use hot glue is because there is going to be some weight put on this frame. So if you do use hot glue, I would recommend using the wood hot glue if you have that. That stuff works really well when you're working with wood. I will link what I have down below in the description box. That's the one I use. But for this one, I'm just using some of the Star Bond permanent glue. It's tinted brown, which makes it nice. I'm going to stick this together and then set it aside and let it dry. While that's drying, grab yourself one of these mini clay pots from Dollar Tree, and you can leave it natural, but I took mine outside and spray painted it with some of this texture spray, and this is what it looks like when it's all done. Now you need to grab some twine. So the pieces of twine, you need 2 pieces of twine. I'm using this thicker twine. This actually came from Michael's. And you want enough to where you can wrap it around the pot and then have kind of pieces to hang it from the frame. So my pieces ended up being about 12 inches long. I didn't get a chance to measure it before I put it up there. That's just kind of an estimate. So what you want to do is you want to take one of your pieces and you're going to tie it in a knot, or sorry, just tie it one time, not in a knot. And I'm going to use some hot glue to secure that first piece down. So I will take hot glue and secure it down and tie that off. Then for the second piece, you're going to wrap it around the opposite direction, again using hot glue to tack it, and then just tie it one time. From there, I took the 2 pieces of rope and hot glued them to the side of the pot so that I pulled them up and they ended up being next to each other. And now you kind of have this like pot looking swing thing. And all you have to do now is just to tie this off from your little wooden canvas frame. And now you've got yourself this really cute pot swing, which I don't know why that sounds so funny. Pot swing that you can put on a desk. It's a great way to display succulents if you can keep plants alive, but you guys know I'm gonna be putting fake plants in mine. For this DIY, you want to grab one of these wooden rounds. Start by popping off the word home. I'm just using my heat gun, but a little tip here, make sure that if you do go this route, and especially if you want to leave this project natural colored, that you don't leave your heat gun in one spot too long because it actually will start burning the wood. Although that look is really awesome, so you definitely could go for that look if you wanted to. Once you get the word home popped off, you want to grab some of these wooden rings. Now Dollar Tree has these larger rings that come in a pack of 5, and they also have a pack of smaller rings, but I'm going to be using the larger rings for this. Now, at first I was like, okay, now I have to figure out how many are going to fit on here. And it took me a minute. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to tape these down. Where do I want to put them? So there was a lot of just kind of messing around at first. But then I realized, okay, this is the easiest way for me to make sure I can get the right amount of rings. And that was to take the rings and just to tie the pieces together with a piece of twine and a knot. Now, this is just temporary for me, but if you like the look of the twine, you could maybe wrap it around 2 or 3 times between each of the rings and have a really nice look that way. So once I got the loop, or I guess wooden ring chain made, I was ready to start placing them down to make sure that I could get them all to fit on my wooden wrap. Once I knew that the rings would fit, I was ready to tack them down. I'm just using hot glue to get that accomplished, but you certainly could use any permanent glue that you would like to, especially if you think your tray is going to be a little manhandled. But once that's done, the last step for me was to go ahead and trim off that twine, because again, that was just kind of a help me get this put down. But I definitely did like the look that it gave it, so I don't know, I may go back in and wrap some twine around mine. But there you go, this DIY is all finished. Now, there is that little hole there in the tray that you can go in and fill in with some wood putty if you like, but I just left my hole there because I knew I'd be putting stuff inside of it and it will cover it up. Calling all of the dog lovers out there, or if you know somebody, grab one of these little houses from Dollar Tree. They have 2 different versions, the whiteboard and the chalkboard version. You want to find an image of the backside of a dog. Now, I just cut this out on my Cricut, but you could Google search dog silhouette and find an image just as easily and print it out and stick it inside of the house. Once you get the dog image down, I did add the name of the pet above that, again, cutting it on my Cricut Joy, but you could use stickers. And then you want to take one of the clear 3M hooks, the small ones, and spray paint it. I'm spray painting mine black, and if you kind of look at it, it looks like a tail, and you just want to hot glue that directly to your house, and now you've got a great little place to hang your leash. Now let me take a minute to tell you a little bit about Skillshare. If you would love to continually learn new things, definitely check out Skillshare. It is an online learning community with thousands of classes ranging from so many different categories, from animation to photography to arts and crafts. You can pretty much find a class if you're looking for something specific. I absolutely love these classes. I have really been wanting to learn more about resin. So currently I am taking a class by Mon Makes. The classes are easy to follow. They're broken up into lessons, and each class there is a way for you to discuss with your classmates. You can submit your own projects and get feedback from the classmates along with the instructor. It's definitely a great learning platform. If you are ready to learn something new, the first 1,000 of my viewers to sign up using the link in the description box will get a 1-month free trial from Skillshare. So give it a go and see what you think. Now, who doesn't need a storage container that you could easily carry around if you needed to? This would be great for craft supplies especially. Start by grabbing 2 arrows from Dollar Tree, popping off that twine, and then you want to mark 2 holes at the tip of the arrow. You want to make these holes large enough to fit a dowel rod in. So I'm just going to use my rotary tool. If you have a drill, you could use that as well. I started by taking my dowel rod and tracing around it so I knew how big the hole needed to be, and then I just, like I said, used my rotary tool to get those holes drilled. Now I'm ready to start assembling this. So to do that, I'm going to be using 2 of these large crates from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to start by attaching the large crate on the bottom of the arrow and then attaching the top one to one arrow, just kind of at the base of the tip of the arrow, if that makes sense. And then I will just put some hot glue on the 2 crates that are already attached to the one arrow and attach my other side. Once it's assembled, you want to take your dowel rod and get it in there. Decide if you want it to fit perfectly in there or if you want it to stick out on the sides. That's just a personal preference. And once the dowel rod's in there, it will fit pretty snugly. You can put a little hot glue in there if you want to secure it. I took mine outside and spray painted it, and now you've got yourself a great little caddy to help you store and organize your items. With this small palette, we're going to make a little patriotic decor piece that would be great for tiered trays or bookshelves. You'll need red, white, and blue, but of course you could make any kind of flag that you wanted to with this palette. So to start, I taped off that top left-hand corner where the blue section needed to be painted. I just used some painter's tape, and then I painted 2 of the slats on the palette red and 2 of them with white paint. I ended up doing a total of 2 coats of paint. Once those were dry, I then went in and painted the blue section of this, again with 2 coats of blue paint. From there, all I needed to do was decide my star situation. I had a lot of different stars. I had pulled some of these metal ones off from previous Dollar Tree signs. I had some little wooden, or not wooden beads, but plastic star beads that also came from Dollar Tree. And once I decided what to do, I just kind of kept it simple and I hot glued my star down, and that's it. This really is a super simple, probably 10-minute craft, if that, and a great little piece to display all through the summer. In the name of helping you guys out, you might remember that flip sign I made a while back in the kitchen about Fin Night and hey, I'm making dinner. Well, this is another sign that might help you out. So start with one of these chalkboard easels. I'm going to stain the edges of mine with some brown wax, but you can paint it whatever you like, whatever the look is. And then you'll need to either grab some stickers, a paint marker. I'm going to just use my Cricut Joy real quickly to cut out 2 words, okay? Clean and dirty. This sign is going to let people know what's going on with your dishwasher. So if it's clean, hey, maybe grab a couple extra dishes and put them away. But if it's dirty, hey, don't put that dish in the sink, put it in the dishwasher. So there you go, a little helpful sign that will literally probably take you, again, less than 10 minutes to make and hopefully help you out a little bit. For this DIY, you want to use some of these wooden bamboo rings. You're going to need 3 to 4 for each lantern depending on the look that you want to go for. So if you want to make a set of 2 lanterns, you could use both the large and the small, or you can make a small lantern, or you can make a large. I'm just making one large one. I'm also going to be using some of these flattened wooden skewers that have a point at the end of them. I got them from Dollar Zone, which I know I've talked about before, but I saw Jessica Lynn. She actually made a lantern kind of similar to this, but she only used 4 dowel rods. So you could go the dowel rod route as well. I'm going to cut the tips of these pieces off with my miter shears. The length of this is up to you. This is a very customizable DIY, but I figured out how many I needed and I did cut the tips all off of all of them. From there, I was ready to start hot gluing these skewers to the bamboo wooden ring, and I started by gluing one and then doing the opposite and then going to the midpoint of the other side, and I just continued to do opposite sides until I was done gluing all of these wooden skewers onto the wooden ring. With all those skewers attached, I'm ready to attach my top wooden ring, and to do that I just slid it over the top and then I just hot glued all of these pieces onto that wooden ring. Then I was ready to make the top part of my lantern. I wanted to have crisscross pieces, so I took another hoop and I trimmed it down to get kind of a half wooden ring that I could glue down to the top, and then I did another piece going across that one. And from there, I wasn't sure if I wanted to leave it natural, if I wanted to spray paint it. I did go in with some brown wax and paint it. I'm not 100% in love with the brown wax, and I may go in and go ahead and just spray paint it black. But I also decided I only liked one little hoop on the top part, so I did change that as well. But now you've got yourself a lantern that you could put greenery in, you could do candles in, lots of options. If you use permanent glue, you could make this, stain it, seal it, and use it outdoors. So lots of options here. Again, very customizable on the height, the size, the color. It's all up to you. Now this DIY is just one of those feel-good DIYs. Dollar Tree currently has two different versions of this wooden heart frame. There's this one that's the square, and then they have a rectangular one with the heart on the kind of left side of it and more of a wood space. Now, one thing to remember about all these wood pieces from Dollar Tree is you don't have to paint or do vinyl or paint pens. If you want something different, remember there's always the option to do wood burning. So that's what I did. I started first though by brushing on some white paint. I wasn't going for full coverage. I just wanted a distressed look. Then I took my pencil and sketched out S plus C and then a little heart with an arrow. I decided to add that in the corner. If you used the other heart frame or heart wooden piece that they have right now, there's a lot more wood area, surface area that you could do some more wood burning. You could put dates, things like that. I'm still a beginner at wood burning, but it's definitely something to keep in the back of your mind with all of these wood pieces at Dollar Tree. Wood burning is a great way just to get a total different look. It's not stickers, it's not paint pens, it's not vinyl decals. It's just something totally different. So that's it. Now, I have this corner cabinet that has a ton of our memorabilia from our wedding and engagement photos, kind of the official beginning of Mr. and Miss Cheap. And so I was making this frame for that cabinet, but you certainly could do it for, you know, a baby, birth announcements, whatever you want to. But just remember, wood burning can definitely be your friend with all of these wooden pieces. And there you have it, a ton of wood DIYs. Let me know down below which one of these was your favorite. What is your favorite wood item to pick up from Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, Michaels? Is there something that you just absolutely always love to work with? I'd love to know. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Here are some more videos you might enjoy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.